Hi, and welcome to another episode of Wine and Wisdom. I'm Thomas Le Hoang, and you're listening to the TL podcast, where knowledge is shared and no one takes themselves too seriously. Well, guys, let's dig into the second subject of the day. We on the day after tomorrow, and what has happened in the American election?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Did all this research, mate. We thought, it was an interesting day. So, I find interesting about it. Everyone is talking about it. That still baffles me that we are so invested in it.
But we
in
have
Australia. My 13-year-old son is sending me. He sent me 15 messages. He never sent me that many messages before in my life, and he can't tell me why, but he's very anti-Trump and very for Biden. Has no idea why. Like most Australians, can't tell you why someone should win. Can only tell you why they shouldn't. But yeah, everyone is all over it. And I mean, I don't think it matters who wins because they're both morons. But
Yeah, I understand that, but it's about getting the smaller moron to deal with, right? I think that we, in the last 4 years, if you have a look, we've been forced to do certain things, and we probably America's puppet. So if we are forced to do certain things, and now we have our farmers being punished, we have lobsters that got stopped at the airport in China. We got people who are in industry that are now having to close for a while because of these things that's happening in terms of tariffs. Man, the next 4 years, if that dude was around, he's unleashed, mate. What we gonna cop is going to be 10 times what we got here.
Yeah, but the flip side of it is, and you don't know because you don't know what to believe because none of it's true, but if the Democrats are as... I was trying to explain to Crystal yesterday, she said, which one's Liberal and which one's Labor? I said, it doesn't work like that over there. The Democrats are the Greens. They're our version of the Greens, essentially, and they're going more and more to the Green side of things than ever, and that's not good for anyone either. That's not...
And it's interesting you say that. We had the same chat in our office this morning, and Jessica said, I wasn't sure which way, but I realised that, Trump is the Liberal in Australia, and she said, Democrats are the Labor in Australia, and she...
Not so much.
Liberal. Yeah.
The Democrats are the Greens, and if they were the Labor, see, the thing that, from what I understand, again, not an expert, but the thing that is killing Biden in a lot of the states that Trump is winning is he's very anti-mining and anti-gas production and anti-fossil fuel stuff. That's not Labor in this country. I mean, Labor, the way we work, is all about the workers and the unions and all that stuff. Biden's not for any of that. He's for saving the trees and, that side of politics is. I shouldn't say him in particular, but he's a 96-year-old man who's going to do as he's told. So that's the fear, the political correctness that we've spoken about before on this podcast, the problems with social media that we've spoken about on this podcast and their influence on the world. That's all the Democratic side of politics over there. So again, and I might be naive, and you raise a good point, mate, with the war with China, but I think we're at war with China anyway, regardless of America, and COVID's got a lot to do with it.
We didn't have to be the puppet, mate.
The other side of it is I don't think any of it affects, apart from stuff like that, doesn't affect us too greatly. Who's in?
No, but
they're all going to go to war.
This is a small thing. However, it's about. There's quite a few things that I noticed. The first thing for me, let's get into the bottle first.
We can't have a dry conversation.
No.
So unlike Mr. Thompson, I put some effort in. I too chose on the label.
No wonder Chris chooses not to come half the time.
Mate, we did something very similar. We both chose our wines on the label, except mine says Penfolds and yours says Hullabaloo. All right.
And let's see which you're talking today.
So I brought a $49.99. So it just meets the.
Are we declaring prices now? Are we?
Criteria? No, well, because it's a Penfolds, I've got to prove that I'm under the limit. It's a bin 28, and bin 28 is their oldest bin.
$29.
It's not $29, $49.99.
$29.
It's their oldest bin. This is a Kalimna Shiraz. So 2016. The first bin 28 was in 1959. So it's a South Australian wine.
So they've had a while to get it organised then,
Yeah.
haven't they?
And Penfolds, of course, was established in 1844 in South Australia. So let's get into it. We've had some, when we were doing the more expensive bottles on here, we've had some Penfolds, but we'll see how the lower end of the scale stacks up.
Let's have a look. Anyway, one of the things that I believe the election has really shown is that the media, it's pretty bad.
So bad.
You look at, I'm talking about even the quality of media. I'm expecting, if I'm going to go to the news, that I'm going to get some news. And I think that what I get now is a propaganda machine that is being paid by one side or the other. You know? Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Be better than a hullabaloo, or? Oh, please.
Come on, Stephen. That's what you should be doing when you're having his wine.
Because
You can't give it to me.
I made him cry
it's
last
nice,
time I
it's
came
nice.
on a podcast. I couldn't do it a second time.
It's really nice, man.
I think you're up to podcast 76, and I was last invited on 21. It took all that number to come back,
please.
because I upset Cam.
Don't be like that. I was saying to you before, the reason I want Trump to win is not because I'm like everyone else, mate. I've got no idea. We're just pretending to have an idea. But if for nothing else, all the effort that Twitter have gone to, which we can discuss whether private business should be allowed to do what they want on YouTube, and then all the media, all the mainstream media, the amount of effort and money they've spent trying to get Trump not elected, I think it'd be fucking brilliant if he still wins, because they shouldn't be trying to have – they leave social media out of it because they're a private business, like I said, but the media in general shouldn't be trying to influence popular decision and the way the world is run. And they've spent that much energy on it this time round to get him not elected that I think it's a fucking brilliant thing if he gets up. One thing we have learned,
So
we
you've
said we
got
learned
shares in Murdoch, all Murdoch's products, have you?
No,
Because
no.
he hasn't done anything to try to get Trump kicked out. All we see is Trump's the best, Trump's the best.
Yeah,
So
well, Sky News is the only one I've seen that actually publicly pumps Trump up.
They go to Fox. Come on, man. There's plenty.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have
Fox.
Shapiro's doing his talk. You've got all these guys. Come on.
Yeah, but
Every
it's not,
news
it's-
outlet is nothing else these days. And this is why I reckon Google should not be fined or should not be taxed on news, because it's not news.
No.
You know, why would you charge Google a tax on news? It's going to be all fake news either way.
The other thing we've learned is that the pollsters are now as good as the weatherman at predicting what's actually going to happen, because they were so wrong again. Like even if Trump,
they were wrong 4 years ago. He wasn't going to get in then.
even if Trump loses, he's only going to lose by a 15th.
Yeah.
And they were so far wrong
But
about
it's
it.
still a loss, mate. And by the way, I just want to remind you that both you and Chris will owe me an apology, because
Why?
I said Biden was going to win, and it looks to me like he's on the
I'll
way.
probably have to apologise. He wouldn't have had an opinion.
No, he said Chris.
No, Chris wouldn't have had an
Chris,
opinion.
yeah, he did say that.
He did. He loves Trump.
He did say that.
Chris
mate.
doesn't pick
He's thinking-
sides ever, mate.
Nah, I
ever.
heard him. He's going to be like Chris Trump Danola. He's changing his name. I reckon actually Trump could be the first president they've actually got to physically remove from the White House.
You
the
think
way
so?
he's going, yeah, he's not going to go out. He's already started Supreme Court action.
No. I reckon he's gonna be going by himself. He's probably gonna get on the first flight to China, where he's got his bank account, and he's probably gonna visit Putin every now and then. And between Putin and Xi, I mean, the three of them are going to become like the three musketeers, mate. You know, billions in the bank.
So he makes Australia an enemy with China, and then he's going to head off and see his
That's
buddy.
about
Any tariffs that the Chinese have imposed onto Australia have gone into that Trump account in China. And China, yeah.
But you talk about us not being America's puppet. That goes hand in hand with America going to war. That's when the puppet talk comes out. Oh, we shouldn't just go to war because America's going to war. That side of politics are all warmongers. Biden, Hillary Clinton, Obama, they didn't stop any wars. They created a shitload of them. So we're still going to be America's puppet in that sense. If the worst thing that Trump's done for us is pick a fight with China, who gives a shit?
Oh, well, you're talking to someone who's a member of the Pauline Hands and One Nation.
Yeah, what happened
And
to
so-
your vote in Queensland? I know we're talking the US election, but your party collapsed in Queensland, bro. Gone.
Yeah, but that's
Comrade
just-
Palaszczuk, the comrade won again, and the Run Nation party disappeared. It was because they got
Just
Mark
checking,
Latham.
does Pauline know you belong to her party?
No, mainly because I am in talk right now. I'm about to take the leadership over from Pauline. She's useless. So
He's the honourable member for the One Nation party.
member for life, mate.
First Asian they ever let in as a member of the
Mate,
One
it's the
Nation.
first time I couldn't get off the floor here when we did that role play and he picked One Nation. I couldn't get up. The
No, but-
Vietnamese Belgian that's head of the One Nation.
No, but
party.
they really got mixed up because when I turned up, I showed my Australian passport, and I only spoke French, and they looked at me and they knew I was Asian. So they don't know. I said, man, I'm a pure bastard here. I'm a real bastard, a mix of three.
Bob Catter's head exploded.
Yeah, but going back to the election, boys, it's probably the highest voters count in 100 years. Over 160 million people have voted.
That's the mail-in stuff though, yeah? Because they could post it in this time.
It's no, yeah, well, for COVID, changes a lot of things. And this is what they're going through right now, Stephen. They're still counting a lot of the mail-in ballots. And from what they're thinking, the mail-in ballots have been sent by a lot of liberals who wanted to make sure that their vote counted.
Republicans.
And this is what the Trump campaign is trying to do now, is to stop the
Slow it.
the
So the
counting.
Liberals are the Democrats
Oh, okay.
in American politics.
Okay.
They call themselves liberal as in, because the word liberal means free and all that sort of
But
shit.
they're the
so-
equivalent here of a mix of Green and Labour. So when you look at Liberals over there, that's the mix. When you look at Republican over there, it's the Liberal Party here.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I was having discussion with a friend. Most of us, including me or the two of you boys, we will always vote what we voted all our lives. And quite often, we probably will always vote what our parents voted.
I've heard
Right?
Stephen's
And there's
a bit
going to
of a
be
swinger.
just like 1 or 2%, right, guys?
He's a swing state over here. He's been known to.
Careful, mate, he's going to take off his shoulder.
We call him Wisconsin.
Swinger, swinger. That's not in voting. That's not in ever actually.
No, so really, only a few percentage of the people are what we call independent. They vote not only with their conscience, but with the right policies. They look at policies, they look at everything, right? Where we will vote for whatever party we believe in. Whether the guys are not likable, whether the guy is too nice or got crap policies, we're going to find a way to like his policies. Where what I am so astounded with the Trump phenomenon is, I believe it is the star or celebrity status that is really carrying him. That would be like if Nicole Kidman came back here and decided she was going to run for prime minister.
She'd win.
She'd win.
Yep, because I
I
think
don't care
people
who
will follow the celebrity.
If my leader Pauline Hanson was to go against
Well, I believe-
Nicole,
I believe she
it's going
was-
to be very hard for Pauline to win. Even though,
She was in the hotel next to Scott Morrison in Hawaii while the bushfires were going on. They were probably talking politics while they were over there.
no, so I'm thinking, my leader Pauline, if she was to run against Nicole, I mean, who would you vote for?
I'd probably vote for Nicole.
You vote for Nicole?
No,
What
I'd
about you?
actually,
I wouldn't vote
hand
for
on
her
heart,
either.
I'd vote for
Yeah, I'm
Pauline.
not talking to you boys anymore. Huh?
Hand on heart, I'd vote for Pauline. No, I'd vote for Pauline.
Because I know
Because she'd have a
Nicole
policy.
that doesn't matter. Nicole comes from a good liberal family, and she will be sitting there and it'll be bye Scott, hi Nicole.
The thing I was mentioning before, it's very interesting over here that everyone has an opinion on who should win the US election, but they can't tell you why. They can only
I
tell
told
you
you why.
They can only tell you why not, right? So, and from the outside looking in, and we've only got a view, unfortunately, of what the Aussie media show us, but when Trump got elected in 2016, he was going to build a wall and he was going to do this and he was going to do that. Haven't heard any of that this time from either of them. All they're doing is attacking each other personally and saying, don't hire him because he's a dickhead. No, don't hire him because he's a dickhead. There's been very little policy talk. I know Biden's talking about changing the judicial system over there, but only minor stuff. They're not running on policy.
No, it's
They're
not true.
running-
I think that Biden has come out with a lot of crap that actually has hurt him. He's talking about anti-fossil fuel.
Yeah, it's going to be
He's talking,
renewables.
so he's talking about, I'm going to be shutting down those stuff. And mate, do you know how many petrol heads, I mean, not rev heads, but petrol
Well, that's why the middle of the map is all red, because that's where all the mining is.
So man, I'm sorry. He's come out and said a lot of garbage. Imagine someone who's gone out and said, "No, do you know what? I'm going to listen to the scientists." Meaning, with COVID, we're gonna shut the country down. Whoa, man! Look at the entire middle center of America. You really gonna do that with them? Mate, some of them just turn out with 5 guns. You know, so it's not gonna happen. Now, what I didn't realize, we jump on the bandwagon in this country too. You know, but when you have a look, what did we do with Biden? Oh, he's too old. He's asleep. Did you see it? You had to call him. He's asleep.
Asleep.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny, just to say, add on to that, my office is a younger demographic of people. And we were talking about it. And they go, have you seen the way he kisses those babies? Are you sure he's not a pedophile? Like, that's what the younger people in Australia are talking. I talked to the kids. Same thing came out. Yeah. So...
All thoughts expressed on this podcast are those of Stephen Thompson and Stephen Thompson only.
No, but, like the younger people. So if you look in Australia, there's not a lot of younger people that are going for the Bidens because they're not.
You can't
really
sit there and watch a guy, and this is I
haven't
got into the policy.
We're in Australia.
You can't sit there and watch a guy who gets halfway through a sentence and forgets his own name and go, that guy should be the leader of the freeway. You keep writing that off every time, mate. The guy's in trouble.
Come on,
the guy's in trouble. He's had too many head knocks. He's gone.
Mate.
Gone.
You have Franklin Roosevelt, who had polio, couldn't really move, and really showed some of those physical abilities. Seriously, we need to really go beyond that.
It's a mental thing for him, though, mate.
Come on,
he forgot who God was.
I mean, you got to think that seriously.
You know, that guy up. He goes, that guy up there.
It'll be sitting there. We'll be thinking, hang on, we're going to have to push this button at some stage. You know, this could be the start of World War III.
And then he goes, do I push the red one or the green one?
Yeah. What am I pushing a button for again? You've got to be. If you don't have sound mind...
Yeah, but the other one, Trump, if it was Trump, he will push the button.
Yeah, push the button.
But first he'll check,
is
that going to be close to my bank account in China? If it is close to my bank in China, we're not doing it.
But you've got to give him 4 years.
The best one was Biden
4 years. Did he push that button?
No, he can't.
He needed to still have time to build the wall.
He's unleashed. Mate,
he was going to build the wall in the next 4 years.
I'm a bit disappointed in the leader of the One Nation Party being so green over here. I'm a bit upset, to be honest.
He
forgot who God was. He's doing a talk and he goes...
could I please be a guest when Pauline's our guest? I'll come with Pauline.
Actually, Pauline has asked me a few times here now to turn up and do this with me.
But she doesn't know how to pick a good wine?
No, instead of a cheese platter, we'll have fish and chips.
Yeah.
But I have told Pauline I'm not going to leave, in a shadow. I am my own leader. I need her, and she reckons she's going to be fine. Actually, she's coming with me to Vietnam very soon.
Well, that'll be like 2022 before we're allowed out of the country. But anyway,
fair dinkum. He forgot who God was one day. That's the one that sticks in my head with Biden. He's trying to talk about God, and he goes, "I have faith in, the one in the sky." That guy. That's what he said.
He meant Qantas. He was actually thinking, Australia got me here. It's Qantas.
John Travolta's flying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Grease lightning.
I go for decency.
All right, so you didn't vote for either of them.
I think that you
voted for Kanye West.
I think that you should look at policies.
those Kardashians.
I think that policy is important to look at.
He's trying to make this a serious
way more than policies, man. No,
there are no policies.
This is serious stuff. Listen, if I just jump in and join you in the bandwagon, seriously, Pauline's gonna kick me out from the party, and I'm not having that shit. Right? This is serious shit.
How do you and Mark Latham get along? That's what I want to know.
Fuck Mark Latham.
Well, actually,
I told Pauline
that was another party I went to.
Mark Latham is nothing but a cam, right? Listen, look at him. He's a cam, so no manners, no brains.
He's quite intelligent. He got no manners. I'll give you that.
We're
talking about Cam or Mark?
Hang on. No, we're talking about Mark. But I actually thought Mark Latham had something until he decided to be a reporter for Sunrise, and then I knew that was over. Actually, it's probably
saying I got no brain.
All he's got left.
You waited for that proof, mate. I made up my mind long ago.
You're saying I got no brain. Here, let's just back it up. But no manners. I'll back you on that. Mate. Get your own wine.
What would Chris say? Hang on. What would Chris say if he was here?
Nothing. He doesn't have an opinion on anything.
Okay. It's funny. You
Chris
shouldn't
would
pick on
probably
Chris.
agree with me.
Even today, when Jessica, I was leaving my office and Jessica goes, I love Chris, you know, like it's just you need to, you just
Yeah, but they all love Chris because Chris gets bashed every fortnight here because he takes wine from his garage.
She even said,
you can't do that shit.
She even said, you know, I feel sorry for Chris, you know, like it's like one day Cam's not going to be able to turn up to a wine and wisdom, and then I advised her that free drinks, Cam's always there, so he was all right. You know, like
mate,
you'll never miss.
I rolled down the freeway in a wheelchair once.
Look, after the last time I was on, and like Thomas showed me every back road home, I thought I'm getting the lift.
Yeah, I know, mate. He's close to my place. He jump out of the car and start having a piece. Mate,
dude,
careful, mate. You're in
what
my
are
neighborhood.
you doing? We've got a standard to uphold.
Oh well, you were like miles ahead of us, thinking that was 100 zone in the 60.
Speaking of driving, I drove on the North Connect a couple of hours after it was open.
I didn't even know it was open.
I hope my mother-in-law's not listening because it used to be 2 hour and 20-minute drive to her place in Bargo. We got there in an hour and 25 on Saturday, which means all my excuses for needing to leave early. And
you can drop down and see our mate Sam Newen.
Yeah, that's right.
You're a big Bargo man now.
And Picton.
Yeah. He's in Bargo.
He just moved to Bargo.
Big acreage. He's got big acreage.
Ah, good on him.
Yeah, 250
We're now with the not having to drive.
His acreage is like he's got as much acres as his daughter's hair. He told me, so that's like probably 50. So
40 minutes to here instead of an hour.
Oh, I know why you don't want your mother-in-law to know, because like you sort of pretend it takes a lot longer to get
that's what I just said.
We've got to leave earlier.
We've got to leave Christmas Day at 4 o'clock because of the 2 hour drive home, and it's a problem every Christmas. The fight starts at 12
Anyway, we were talking about the US election. We better.
I was talking about North Connect.
North Connect, but I didn't.
Thomas finished digging the tunnel.
So just checking, you drive off the end of the M1
and you just keep
straight
going.
in North Connects, and it just brings you to Wisebury head office.
M2.
Oh, so you still got to turn off the M2. I thought it would just... Thomas, the tunnel should have just come out right in front of the office.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Burbank Plaza should have been the end of the office.
Carryong is now 30 minutes from the M2, mate. We're now officially a suburb of Sydney.
And I've seen the prices increase. I mean, you were selling stuff for 600. Now they're all 1.2.
Yeah, mate, you're just trying to... This is that sarcasm we were speaking about, mate. No one's appreciating it. Okay.
That's
I've
not very nice.
You've
Talking like that about our
He's
guests.
got some cheap wine into him, and now out comes
No,
the
I have.
sarcasm.
It's that Penfolds Bin 28 Shiraz.
He's liking it now. He's liking it now. Looks to me, boys, that maybe we're going to have Biden.
Oh, you'll be happy with that, won't you, you leftist bastard?
No, it's not. I'm not happy. I'm not happy because I think that Biden is not going to make too much of a inroad for the West. I think if anything, he's going to give probably the left too much of a say.
Too much power, brother.
And probably reduce the power of the people who make things happen, who have got the guts to go out there and build companies and do things. I think that's going to happen. But I am sorry. Next to the other dude that's...
At least he kept people with a job.
He's unleashed, mate.
No, I disagree with you.
Is Biden going to make China better for us, though?
No,
because we can't sell copper to China. They don't want to take that from us now. So is Biden going to make that better?
Yeah, that would take Scott Morrison to turn. The reason China's not selling anything to us is because Scott Morrison said, you guys gave us the virus, you should be investigated. That's why they're not taking any of our shit.
When did he do that? And when did Scott do that?
Yeah, after Fuckknuckle did it, but that doesn't matter.
But see, that he doesn't say it, right? He waits for me to ask a question.
So
right?
After who? And don't use that.
After the American said it.
So who?
Which American?
Which American person?
The orange man.
Yeah, say his name. Come on, Cam, you can do it.
It's huge. I'm huge. I'm Donald Trump. I'm huge.
Oh, Trump. He said Trump, if you didn't hear.
None of that gets reversed. That's the problem. The bigger, wider problem is, and I don't think we're going to be alive to see it. Definitely not you two, because you're old as fuck. But
you know that he says it every single time.
Yeah, I do.
But he doesn't see that.
I've worked out he doesn't like being called.
If you know, size doesn't matter to age.
Oh, mate, size matters. Trust me, I've asked the right people.
I know size matters, but you needed 2 chairs to put your butt up.
And he had to buy that $49, $99 bottle of wine because we were only allowed to spend $50
Veronique sent out the clothing sizes for the leadership conference and said,
4X.
pick one size above because they're a small fit. And I just wrote back, doesn't exist.
I see you've got yours on early.
No, these
That's
are
a
my door
4X.
knocking shirts, mate.
That's the what?
That's a 4X.
These are my door knocking
okay.
shirts. They've never been used for their purpose. But no, what I was going to get to, and I shouldn't have thrown an old joke in there, Thomas. I'm sorry. Okay, buddy. All right. You don't look a day over 63. The fact that they were the two options for the leader of the free world is the biggest problem out of the whole lot. The fact that they only got to choose between them two and Kanye West for who is going to run the biggest empire of the free world speaks to a massive issue which is going to have to change eventually before Nicole Kidman gets her hands on the trophy because...
Well, hopefully Nicole's listening and she'll probably come in.
I don't think they wrote the Constitution and all that stuff, and the current structure of politics was written hundreds of years ago, and it's fast running out past its use by date, I think, because if you end up with, we can have Joe Biden who can't remember who God is, or Donald Trump who
He doesn't have to remember anyone.
fell
mate.
out of a solarium as
He's
the leader of the...
He's going to have people like helping him making policies.
Oh, good.
all right?
He's got
he's-
Kamala Harris, who was keeping people in jail to keep the cheap labour going while she was a judge and fabricating evidence. She's the one who's got her hand up his ass steering the puppet, mate.
No. He's not going to have to come up with everything. This is what
All right,
people...
why are you getting angry at me? Can you
I'm not
agree
angry.
or disagree?
No, I'm
that-
not angry.
that-
It's only that, guys. I am the new leader of the One Nation Party, and you're nobody. So I know what I'm talking about. You don't. And here's the thing: Donald Trump doesn't come out with a policy. He comes out with crap. The
point
is
was-
unleashed by some of
not
these
the
people,
point.
and one of the people is Jared, his son-in-law. So he goes out on a tangent. They know how to control him to some extent, right?
The point I was trying to make is there's a fundamental flaw in the structure of politics these days that they're the only choices we get.
And I have to say,
Can
if
anyone
that's
agree
all
with
we've
that?
got, you've got to worry
At one
about
point, we
America.
got to choose between Malcolm Turnbull and Bill Shorten. Give me a fucking break. It's the same over here.
But you know, Joanne in my
Where's
office...
Pauline?
Joanne in my office said
Yeah,
the
I'm
other
here.
day, she said, do you know, in
You've
America...
been working out, Pauline.
In America, they start boarding up the buildings because an election's happening.
Yeah.
In Australia, we hop down to the local public schools, vote for someone, buy a sausage sizzle and go home. She said, I'm so glad I live in Australia.
Yeah, but we've still only got the choice between two dickheads usually. Like the actual
but I
system
think-
where, and you think you're voting for someone. Like back when I first was new to voting, I'm voting for the legalisation of marijuana party. That's all I'm ever voting for. And then I found out their preferences went to Labor. So even when you think you're trying to do something right by the world, so then I started voting for the sex party, and their preferences went somewhere else.
You know
the system is fucking
it doesn't
flawed.
matter whether we've got two dickheads that we're voting for. I look at the quality of life we have in Australia. We're not putting the boards up. We're not doing what we have
It'll
to
come.
do. Oh, I don't think it'll come. I think we've got a country of people that are reasonable and rational, and our gun licenses are under control. I mean, I decided to watch Sunrise this morning just so I could keep up with world events. And
Yes, Danola's here.
it's
Yes.
like
I trust the government, and Sunrise is where I get my information. Nice of you to make
But
an
it doesn't
appearance,
matter.
Chris.
They're not putting any, when the elections are on, they didn't put boarding up over any of our offices or buildings because we live in a country that's safer. And I think we've got to respect
he
that.
meant it's raining this morning, so there was no sun that you could see. So sunrise couldn't give you
Oh,
shit.
okay.
That's what he's saying.
Oh, because you get upset because Chris gets up earlier than you because he
No,
sees the
because
sunrise.
Chris says dumb shit like, I wanted to know what was going on in the world, so I watched Sunrise.
Hey guys, you can't put a guy
Yeah,
down
no,
when he's
wait.
not around.
I'm
okay?
not
No.
putting him down.
I thought
No,
Chris was going to be
does
here.
not say dumb shit.
I thought I was a
okay?
guest and we are going to have 4 bottles of wine
Sometimes he
instead
says
of
something
3.
good, like I just got a good salami. I mean, it's not dumb.
He sat here one day and said, I trust the government. And you and I both fell off our chairs. That's a dumb thing
No,
to
I
say.
said Chris doesn't say dumb shit all the
that's what I'm
time.
saying. He's right. His salami's better. I failed in the salami.
No, that's hot. That's hot.
No, hey, listen, Chris has got a lot of great ideas, but the problem is there's something between Chris and Cam. It happens all the time, Stephen. You need to
It's
know
just,
it.
I could tell.
Chris
from
and
day
Cam
one.
is like dog and cat, right?
Well, it's like Punch and Judy, really.
I'm a dog. I hate
It's
cats.
like his other podcast, Punch and Judy.
What?
He wants to
Polishing
be
the punch,
Judy
mate.
all the time. Oh, is that what it's
Punch and
called?
Judy.
Oh, the girl. I haven't
It's
watched one, but
Judge
the
Judy,
girls,
isn't
the girls told me it was Cam's got his own podcast
Polishing the
called
Punch?
Punch and Judy.
What are you talking about?
But
Poor
don't
Cam.
hurt his feelings. Ask his children, his son, how he nicknames us.
Nicknamed who?
What's his son call you? What's this?
Isaac reckons this is the brain, and this is what?
No.
Okay,
No, come on, let it go. It's like Trump coming out of your mouth. Come and say it.
Isaac's quite fond of telling me I need to talk to the smartest man on the podcast. It's never wants to talk to me.
Oh, okay.
I love the kid. The kid that deserves.
We should
all
keep
the
that
attention.
kid.
Listen.
Anyway.
I think the America is not out of the woods. I think there's going to be a lot of destructions. And
Do you think they
like I
will?
said to my wife this morning, the only people who are going to make a lot of money are the lawyers. The lawyers are just queuing up, trying to just take any kind of lawsuits on.
I'm going to make a massive generalisation here, but I think if Biden wins, there's no riots because the people who have been doing the rioting are from the left.
But then is that?
Well,
No,
I
let's see.
beg to differ,
There were
mate.
riots this
You will
morning.
see riots no matter what. And I would love to see
If Trump
Biden win and
supporters
see
are
the
rioting,
riots.
they've all got automatic weapons.
Yeah, but
so
let's
we're in
talk
trouble.
Biden. Is Barack Obama in the back of Biden? Is he going to be sitting there advising him?
Yes.
Because then we can go back to the previous 4 years before the last 4 years.
No, I'm talking about the riots. You're talking
Yeah, but
about
you-
Barack.
yeah, but
Can you
let's-
keep up?
Yeah, but riots, they'll last for
That
a
was
week or
fucking 4
two
years
and then
ago.
they're over.
No, but
you know?
everyone's boarded up their shops. Hasn't been a riot yet. I don't think.
Well,
if
there were
Biden
riots this
wins-
morning.
But there will be riots no matter what, Cam, because
it
this is
doesn't
an
matter.
election.
If Trump wins, the Biden.
This is a passion election, mate. This is not an election for president. This is an election of passions, right? Passions for get rid of this dickhead
Huge.
versus passion for
Vote in
this
this
is
dickhead.
this is the guy who eliminates The Apprentice.
Yeah.
So it's passion, right? It's no right and wrong on politics, on policies. Mate, ask these guys about policies, they wouldn't even know.
That's what I've been saying. You've been arguing with me the
Yeah,
whole
but that's-
fucking time.
but
No
really,
one can tell you why. I've written it down.
Yeah, but that's look really.
Okay,
Think
okay,
in Australia. It's not. They don't look at the younger.
You're breaking up,
generation don't-
Stephen. You're breaking up.
The
Getting a
younger
better
generation
reception.
don't look at. They're not looking at policies. They wouldn't have a clue what the Australian
No, they
policies
look-
are.
they
It's a
look-
popularity contest. Will I vote for Scott or will I vote for Bill or will I vote for whoever? You know, like
no, but
that's all they're looking at.
if we're
Anthony
gonna have to do
Albanese.
vote for Cam, but you can't. If you want to win, you can't do vote for Cam. You have to do vote for Cam 007. Then then it wins because they go for 007. This is what people for the moment they're going for, and I think this election, if anything, is a referendum on the impact of social media. Social media has created a superstar. And that superstardom is the only thing that is magnetizing people. It's a magnet. People are not even thinking, where is our country heading? They're not interested.
No, they don't see. They don't even know policies. It's two personalities. Let's pick the winner.
I'm glad we've been talking for half an hour and now you both agree with me because I've been saying that for
Oh, when did you say that?
No, I didn't agree with you at the
social
beginning.
media.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't agree with you because you were wrong from the beginning, mate. You. I know you pro-Trump no matter what.
I'm not pro-Trump. I'm anti-establishment. That's what I am.
You want
Yeah, but
Trump?
we said it was two
Anti-establishment.
personalities.
I'm not
We didn't say-
pro-Trump. I'm anti-establishment.
We didn't say two.
Who says social media has created the
personalities.
star? It hasn't been Donald Trump
We
that
didn't
social
say
media has
Trump was the
created.
star.
We teaming up.
There's only
you'd
one
have
thing
it.
that I'm a bit sad about the outcome of this election, is that the next 4 years without Trump, it's gonna be a bit boring on television when you're watching CNN or Foxtel fight each other.
Ah, but at least we'll have cheap lobsters, mate. That's the important thing.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to die from those lobsters. Anyway, thank you guys. Let's talk about the next subject.